Episode 18. He misunderstood her. Liam pouted pitifully.
My nasty auntie locked me up. She wouldn't let me see Mommy, and she told me to stay here. She also said that if I didn't listen, then these people would hurt me.
He pointed at the two men who were guarding him and said hatefully,
That's them. They're the bad guys. Bad people, like my horrible auntie.
Bryce frowned and looked at the men. When they met his cold gaze, they lowered their heads in fear.
But I wasn't scared, because I knew that my dad would come to save me.
Liam hugged Bryce's neck. The child's soft, gentle voice filled his ears and touched his cold heart. The bodyguards didn't see him resist Liam's touch, but they could feel that their boss's usual aura had become warmer. They were dumbfounded. This was the first time they had seen him like this. "Why did your aunt lock you up?" Bryce asked. He remembered that the woman had said her child had been taken by her father, but she hadn't said why. He had only asked casually. He hadn't actually thought a child as young as Liam would be able to tell him anything, but the boy was smarter than he thought.
When you left the hospital, Grandpa had my horrible auntie take me away and lock me up so that I couldn't see Mommy. Auntie said that as long as they had me locked up, Mommy would do what Grandpa said.
Liam let out a snort.
Auntie and Grandpa are both bad people. They bullied me and Mommy.
Although he was small, his speech was clear and precise. After Bryce heard this, he was a bit shocked. What Tom had done was practically kidnapping, and he had actually done this to his own daughter and grandson. He didn't know how such a man could call himself a father. He also couldn't help but think about Natalie, who had barged into his room earlier. "I'm not lying. This was an accident. I thought Liam was here. I came to find him." Her explanation was true. Bryce felt a burst of annoyance. It seemed that he really had misunderstood her. But this had nothing to do with him. He looked down at Liam, who was in his arms. The boy gave him a sweet smile, his eyes twinkling. Bryce's heart softened, and a sigh escaped his lips as he held the child tightly and walked out of the room with big strides. Seeing that he was taking the child away, the two men panicked. They rushed forward to take him back, but they were stopped by Bryce's bodyguards. They could only watch with despair as Liam was carried away. Bryce carried the child into his room and put him down. Then he took out his cell phone and handed it to him. "Call your mother and ask her to come pick you up." Liam took the phone and stared at it for a while. Then he looked up innocently and said,
Dad, you're not taking Mommy and me home?
What a sweet question. Bryce suppressed the irritation in his heart and explained patiently, "Little guy, I'm not your dad, so you shouldn't call me that."
"But you are."
Liam looked at him with determination. Bryce raised his eyebrows. "Sorry, you are not my son, so stop calling me Daddy." With that, he got up to leave. Liam quickly grabbed his shirt.
"Daddy!"
Why was this child so stubborn? Bryce took a deep breath, pulled his hand away, then bent over. They stared at each other. "Listen carefully. I'm really not your father." Seeing how serious he was, Liam pouted in disappointment. Tears welled up in his eyes as he lowered his head pitifully and dialed Natalie's number. The call didn't connect. First, he had been rejected by Bryce, and now Natalie wasn't picking up her phone. He was even more disappointed now, and he cried out,
"Daddy doesn't want me, and Mommy is gone too. I'm just a kid nobody likes."
Bryce was speechless. Seeing how pitifully Liam was crying, he started to feel bad. He scratched his head in frustration, but in the end, he just couldn't bear it anymore. He held back his temper and said, "Don't cry. Stay with me tonight. Your mom will come to pick you up tomorrow."
"Really?"
Liam immediately stopped crying and looked at him in surprise. Bryce had a feeling that something was wrong, but he ignored it and nodded impatiently. "Really?" Then he looked at the time and said, "It's getting late. Let's go to sleep." Liam agreed. He looked around and then reached out his hand to grab Bryce's shirt. "What now? Bryce turned around and looked at him in annoyance. Because he had just been crying, Liam's eyes were glistening. He said shyly,
I haven't taken a bath yet. Daddy, can you give me a bath, please?
What? Bryce thought he was hallucinating. The boy wanted him to give him a bath. Liam could tell that he wanted to say no, but he didn't give up. He pretended to be disappointed. He lowered his head and whispered,
Dad has never been around my whole life. Other kids' dads give them a bath. I envy them.
This child. The veins on Bryce's forehead started to bulge. Liam sneaked a glance at him. Seeing that his expression wasn't good, he slowly turned around and said,
Forget it. If you don't want to, never mind.
As he spoke, he slowly made his way to the bathroom. His small figure looked heavy with loss. Damn it. Bryce strode forward, scooped him up in his long arms, and held him. Fine, I'll give you a bath if you want me to. Liam immediately wiped away his disappointment and put on a happy expression. Then he forcefully kissed Bryce on the cheek.
Dad, you're so nice.
Bryce felt cheated again. After taking a bath, Liam had no clothes to change into, so he put on Bryce's t-shirt. It was so big on his small body that it looked like he was wearing a long skirt. Bryce helped him dry his hair and then told him to lie down to sleep. Liam laid down, but he couldn't fall asleep. Bryce felt like he was about to explode, but he asked patiently, What's wrong? Liam answered,
Dad, will you sleep with me?
Sleep with you? Bryce decided that he would not give in this time. No, you have to sleep by yourself. Feeling rejected again, Liam's eyes immediately turned red. Bryce clenched his fist and took a deep breath. Then he came down and laid down beside him. Sleep. Liam beamed. He snuggled close to him and closed his eyes. What the hell? Bryce tilted his head and looked at Liam, sighing heavily. Why did he give in to this little boy so easily?
Full story is available at novelpalace.com. Click the link in the comment section to get it free.